The mountains and hills bordering the upper Cowichan River have been logged many times over. The majestic cedars and firs, replaced over the decades with maples and other deciduous trees and shrubs, aren't as effective at binding the soils that line this Canadian heritage river.
For many years, these banks, not only this one, have been hit at them or sliding down, making the water very calm, which is, I guess, turbidity, our word for this. Calm or chmatsam, two words. It makes it very hard for the fish to breathe on the way up. But also, when the eggs are temuk or in the water, they get smothered with the sediment that lands on top of them.
The Cowichan is considered one of the most valuable and productive salmon and trout streams on Vancouver Island. It is also the region's main water supply.
This was the second largest point source of fine sediment contaminating the river, very active between late October and March in most years.
Engineering and river specialists and biologists have spent the last 10 years monitoring the collapse of the Broadway Run, a steep slope of parkland a few kilometers from the headwaters of the river, and coming up with a way to fortify the bank against erosion and winter floods.
We were looking at engineering solutions similar to what we did at Stoltz. We were looking at everything from moving the river channel away from the toe of the slope to fortifying the toe of the channel, and ultimately decided that fortification of the toe was the best approach. But that was still a project that was well over $600,000. This project where we've gone with bioengineering, as recommended by Dave Polster, was about $35,000 to $40,000 by comparison.
Bioengineering is the use of living plant materials to perform some engineering function. So in the case of the live staking here, we used live cuttings to actually create a draw on the moisture in the soil, and also to hold the soil in place on this landslide.
In March, crews gathered 2,500 tree cuttings and brought them as close to the site as was possible. A West Coast helicopter and skilled pilot was engaged to lift about 20 heavy bundles of the live stakes in twin rope slings from the staging area that were long-lined to spotters on the bank.
Yeah, I think it's a really excellent compromise. If you were to look at the difference between these two projects, the one at Stoltz was a very sort of hard project where you brought in a lot of very large equipment, and you basically moved the river, dewatered it, and then constructed a very, almost an industrial project. Here is a very soft sort of conservation-minded type approach.
Over the next few days, crews labored to pound meter-deep holes into the saturated muck to plant the branches.
There's 3 species that root readily from cuttings. There's balsam poplar, so we have balsam poplar here. There's willow, this is willow, and there's red osier dogwood. This is this red osier dogwood stick right in front of me. And all of those will root from cuttings.
The ultimate goal is to basically fortify the toe of the slope and the mid reaches of the bank by using bioengineering techniques, and ultimately see that deciduous vegetation in the riparian zone transition to large conifers. And that's obviously looking 50 to 100 years into the future, but this is a very first step in that process, that biological process.
I mean, this will grow into a huge tree.
The Broadway live staking project is viewed as an interim, cost-effective measure to enhance the stability of the riverbank. There are plans to conduct a second, smaller-scale planting at the site next winter. At the Cowichan River, I'm Annette Lucas.